Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. How are we all doing today? On this fine Saturday morning, or I guess afternoon, depending on where you are in the world, especially afternoon here in the UK. I'm Verbalocity here with the Mr. Lord WizKid for today, bringing you week 2 of the NA Challengers Cup. The first match we're going to be bringing to you will be Arcane Purple versus Eniquity Eclipse. Let's get the pick and bans underway.
Yes,
So, Wiz, how are you
indeed.
doing today?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you doing?
Not too bad. Got a couple of drinks, just been to the toilet, and ready to go for week 2.
Sounds pretty good. We're just waiting to get into the game right now, just sitting, waiting for one of the teams to finally join. But it looks like it's going to be a very good a very good day of games today. And this first one we're going to be casting is going to be Arcane Purple versus Eniquity Eclipse. Now, none of these two, sadly, were able to make it to the top 16 last time around, so they weren't able to get any points for playing, unfortunately. Yet they are still going to be trying again this week to do the best that they can possibly do.
And remember, this is full open bracket format for the first 4 weeks, I believe. This is an 8-week setup. So, bear in mind, you guys, anyone in the audience, just make a team and try out if you want to. There's points to win, there's prizes to win. Points do actually mean prizes, literally, as we get to the later weeks.
Yeah, this is one of the few pieces. This is one of the few places where the points do matter. If you remember that reference, I salute you.
Wait. But yes, as I wanted to say, by all means, do come in. Even though, yes, it is challenges, there are teams coming in regularly that are either ex-SPL or have been around the block enough as to where they have some experience. So if you want to go and either make a name for yourself or improve your skills, try out. It's open bracket, and it's probably one of the best places right now, is right here in challenges.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. Like, you get a lot of gems if you win each and every week, and then on the last week, if you are able to get to the top 4, I believe, you can get money for doing this. Money.
Actual Wonga.
Yeah, actual money, real life. You can throw it around if you really want, so you may as well do it.
But how do you throw around a PayPal account? That's interesting. But it looks like we are going to be moving into a game here. Yes, it looks like everyone's took their seats, and now it is time for the first game of week 2 of the NA Challengers Cup. It's going to be Arcane Purple versus Eniquity Esports. Let's get into the picks and bans.
Yep, so we're going to see the first ban coming out from the side of Arcane Purple is going to be Circuit, followed very quickly by the Wukong from Eniquity Eclipse.
So, double junglers, well, I wouldn't say double jungler. We've sometimes seen Wukong in the mid or solo, but that's very rare. So double junglers being banned out, and Phase 2 is going to be the Odin being eliminated. Healing has been very much a crux, I would say, Wiz, of the current meta, so being able to get rid of the anti-heal of Odin may indicate, yep, there's the health pickup by Arcane. As we see, Iniquity did also ban out Khepri. Khepri being one of the stronger supports right now, no surprise there either.
Yeah, they are just thundering through this pick and ban phase already. We see some Wukong being picked up by Eniquity Eclipse, definitely wanting to get that strong solo laner, as he is just so good currently, especially with the Bluestone, which is actually getting enough next patch. Just a tiny bit, but I think it could possibly be enough.
Yeah. Some Wukong solo is still extremely strong right now, even with the Bluestone nerf. A lot of people are predicting that while we won't see the constant pick and banning as we're seeing right now of Wukong, he is still going to be fairly prevalent, as we're going to be seeing Athena being hovered over here and locked in, as well as the Medusa. So in theory, that's going to be Arcane's duo lane fully done and dusted. That is the full wombo combo right there of, I will force you to look into my eyes.
Yep, it is, I think as Rank puts it, it's the made you look. You use the image
before Mercury suits for copyright infringement.
Yeah. Mercury's definitely going to be having a look for that one. But it's a very, very strong combination, and it works incredibly well, especially in sort of Gold Fury fights, as, I mean, you get stunned for, what, it feels like about 1.5 seconds or so, maybe 2 seconds later on. It's a pretty long stun, and it can hurt really badly.
Yeah. So, Iniquity is going to be eliminating Hunbat. They did pick up the Geb on top just before that. So, nice amount of initiation, but they also have that crucial CC cleansing shield to get, say, Thor or Wukong out of a bind if necessary. I want to see how Arcane actually bans here, because there's a lot of things on the table for Eniquity right now. Hunters are up there in terms of picking for Eniquity. They don't have a traditional hunter right now, so that could be banned out, as I would imagine that is going to be the next ban. If it isn't, I'd be extremely surprised.
Well, they are banning a hunter currently, but not the one that you think it may be. It's going to be a Freya, which... okay, she's not a hunter, but it is one of those picks that you mostly see in the duo lane only. So she hasn't really seen that much proficiency in the jungle or solo. She's really only been seen in the ADC role. So it's quite a nice ban out. Although the current hover was Apollo, they're swapping it over to and locking in Xbalanque. So that's going to be quite a big pickup for them, especially as they don't really have that much wave clear in that lane.
Yeah, that is going to be either the most killiest kill lane you've ever seen kill someone in the history of kill, or it's going to be a pretty passive farming lane to get the Xbalanque online. Ideally, they do a bit of both to get the Darkest of Nights passive online, the one that gives you extra physical power, but either way, that is a pretty intimidating dueling to go up against late game. And let's see how Arcane decides to go here. They're actually hovering over Osiris and the Nemesis, so that's going to be, I imagine, their solo in their jungle picked up. That is a lot of auto-attack emphasis on their team right now. One good Enfeebling Curse on Midgardian is going to kind of throw a wrench in that. But
yeah,
we'll have to see if they actually adapt to it.
Yeah, and they have indeed locked in both Nemesis and Osiris, so that's going to be their full composition rounded out, just waiting for Eniquity Eclipse to pick up their last and final one. Puch is going to be hovered on. I haven't seen this god in a while, and that's a big lock-in for them.
That amount of raw anti-heal in a single character... Well, actually, no. Let me rephrase that statement. Not anti-heal, it's mind games with healing, because it doesn't reduce your healing. For those of you that don't know how that particular skill works, the miasma, when it's applied to you, that pulsing skull symbol appears. If you are healed by a traditional heal, or I believe lifesteal as well might proc that...
No, lifesteal doesn't proc it.
Just a straight heal, ideally from, say, a hell on the enemy team... that will accrue a stun, which will apply at the end of the ability. That can stack up to 3 times. So, it gets pretty silly pretty fast if you're not careful.
Yeah, you've got to be very careful with healing and when around on Puch. And, like you said, it's not straight up healing reduction, which is what a lot of people always call it. It's just straight up, you don't want to heal around on Puch, especially if he's just put his 3 on you. So it's quite an interesting one, although I'm not sure if it will work out too well. It's there purely to counter the Hell, who is going mid lane. But then again, that means that they haven't got their own healing sort of stance. They've got a really good teamfight ultimate to try and counteract the Medusa-Athena combo. But still, it's an Puch. You're quite squishy. You're fairly easily killable, gankable, and destroyable in a lot of different senses. So I don't know how well it's going to work out. You have to be a very good Puch player to be able to do this.
Yeah, one of the biggest things when it comes to Puch is the lack of any kind of movement escape. It's not like, say, an Isis or a Hubba where they have a little bit of movement. He has just straight, nada, nothing, non-point. So if Osiris or Nemesis decides to go creep up the lane and they've got something as ridiculous as the amount of slows that a Nemesis or an Osiris can provide, also on top of the fact that Frostbound is inevitably going to be picked up on one of these people, if not both, Puch is going to have a hard time getting out of there if he doesn't have his ultimate as essentially a, please move away from me, otherwise you're going to die to spooky scary skeletons tool.
Yep, indeed. Anyway, I believe we should actually end it there and head to a quick break as we wait to get into this game. We'll be right back as soon as we can with Arcane Purple versus Eniquity Eclipse.
Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, gods, assassins, and mages, it is time for the Week 2 of the NA Challengers Cup. It is going to be Arcane Purple versus Eniquity Esports. This is the first match of the day. I'm Verbalocity here with Lord WizKids to bring you all of the action. We should probably talk about the two teams in their individuality. So, coming up from the south, in the blue trunks, defending the Titan of Order, we have Arcane Purple, ironically enough. we have Glitchhop on the mid lane Hell, grandseraph on the Medusa, teaming up with Kauai on the support Athena. We have Viper on the jungle Nemesis, and finally Deridia in the solo lane Osiris. So Wiz, who's Eniquity?
Well, over on Eniquity, we're going to see Wet Stretch playing Xbalanque with the support of Geb inverse. And then in the mid lane, Puch is going to be played by TypicalJava. And then Thor being played by Probofoshocho. I think that's how you want to say it. And then the Sham of some Wukong. So 1 second.
So, it looks like you're going for the double bluestone pendants on the side of Eniquity, both solo and their carry going for that. Now, that would seem to indicate that Wet Stretch and Inverse are going to want to go for a little bit more of a aggressive style. I like the fact that they're going for more ability-based stuff, because bear in mind, Bluestone only procs off of abilities, not auto attacks, so things like the Poison Dart and the Jaguar's Rise are going to do a nice chunk of damage.
Yeah, they're going to do a nice chunk of damage, but it doesn't happen on the one ability, which I think some people actually get confused about. They always try and they always assume that it should happen, but actually no, that's just a steroid to the basic attacks, so it won't actually work on that. It's again quite a couple of interesting things, and it will only proc once anyway. So stuff like Guan, people say he's pretty strong with Bluestone. Actually, it's not too big because his 3 will only proc it once. It's just kind of those little small things. It's not per damage, it's per ability.
Yeah. So right now, unfortunately enough for that strategy, it doesn't seem to be working off in the very earliest stages. Wet Stretch is taking a lot of perk, even with Inverse trying to help, but
Athena is very low. The last dart is actually going to fire all the way over, and that's going to be first blood going to Eniquity Eclipse.
And that's why Bluestone is just deceptively bursty. I didn't even think that was going to happen. That just raw chunking coming from multiple DPS abilities, plus on top of that the bonus damage from the Jaguar Rise was enough to kill. Nice job there by Eniquity.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a huge amount of minion damage, I think, just sort of collectively built up, and then suddenly Athena was just stood there, right in the middle of everything, and went, oh. But actually, in the mid lane, we've seen Viper taking quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, he's going to be able to get away. Unfortunately, that corpse explosion didn't connect with the minions from Typical, so that's not going to detonate.
No, not
now,
at all.
I want to discuss something quickly. So, Nemesis versus Thor matchup. Initially, it is going to go in the favor of the Thor. There's no doubting that. But later on, depending on how Viper plays this, it's either going to be wonderful, because anytime Thor spins to win, you just pop the Nemesis ultimate, drain his protections, and then just slap him to death. Or it's going to go horrible. So this comes entirely down to how Viper plays this into the mid-game.
I mean, yeah, it is mostly if Nemesis can get to this late game stage, and if Eniquity Eclipse build quote-unquote poorly against the Nemesis, and when I say poorly, I mean that's they build a load of defenses. I'm not saying that it's going to be bad build. Without a doubt, it's not going to be bad build. It's just that if you build a lot of protections against Nemesis, she shreds percentage protections.
Yeah.
So, you're going to lose more protections the more tanky you are. So if you want to build it correctly, you want to try and build as much damage as possible, try not to go too tanky, and just be careful about being hit. We do see Thor doing a little bit of damage to Glitchhop. The 3 is taking on... Oh, wow. Didn't even
And
notice
meanwhile, more fighting going on as Viper takes out the Sun Wukong with the help of a nice bit of Osiris poke coming out of Deridia. That's something that I was looking at over in the solo, but I wasn't quite sure would leak to anything. Apparently it does. The amount of raw poke coming out of Deridia with the Spirit Flail is huge, but more... Actually, the double rotation coming out by Eniquity, Pro-Show, Bow, and Typical coming over. Out comes the MT, the Crips. Tries to go into the air. Is able to go to the skies. Let's see if he comes down or tries to escape. TypicalJava trying to run. This is the downside to having an upwash. He doesn't have a lot of mobility, but somehow manages to escape anyway. Sham now forced to try and block the hemorrhaging in this part of the jungle, allowing his teammates to escape.
He's going to go in. He's looking for Viper.
Wow.
Viper is just getting healed up, and suddenly he's got slowed a lot. Viper trying to go underneath tower is going to get the Geb shield, and that's going to be it going down. And now the Geb Cataclysm was used along with the Weakening Curse. Not going to be able to find any other kills though. So that's one kill coming out from Eniquity Eclipse that I don't really think they could have actually got, but I forget the damage of Bluestone Wukong.
Yeah, this isn't the patch where it was nerfed. I believe we are still currently running on the before patch when Bluestone was reintroduced. I keep playing PTS too much, so I'm used to the nerfed Bluestone. But yes, it still does that full 30 extra damage over 2 seconds. So Wukong support is still going to be in full swing here, both literally and metaphorically. But it looks like, uh-oh, Deridia in a bit of trouble. Pops the Judgment Tethers to try and reduce damage, but it's not going to be enough. Even with the physical mitigation, he is going to drop to the extra damage coming out of being near someone thanks to Thor's passive. And that's something I want to discuss quickly. The extra damage that comes out of Thor's passive is no joke. It's an extra 20 power per every enemy god nearby. That stacks up very quickly.
I mean, it's up to 3 gods, so you get a maximum of 60. So it's not as big as it can be, but it's still very potent in the middle of a team fight. Like, you just suddenly slam down, and there you're sitting with an extra 60 physical power on an already fairly damaging god who has very high scaling. So it's one of those things that I think has actually kept him in competitive play for so long. That and, like, his insane mobility with his ultimate and his teleport to his to Mjolnir. That's always one of those things which has just kept him in and doing so much work in pretty much every single state ever.
Yeah. So right now, around 6 minutes into the game here, Eniquity do have the lead. They have more of a gold lead than they do XP right now, 836 to basically equal XP. And Arcane, though, are fighting pretty hard for Ward Vision over the Gold Fury. Maybe they're predicting Eniquity try and take their advantage and push it further with an early Gold Fury take. But that'd be a little difficult considering that grandseraph is over here farming on his own, which is allowing their support to just roam.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that they know that needs to happen, they need to basically wipe out this dual lane before they can even think about going for a Gold Fury. Everyone else doesn't really have much contention. But an Athena and a Medusa, you want to take both of those out. We do see the Thor actually looking over on this right-hand lane. He's going to go up into his ultimate, looking for an ulti onto grandseraph. Is going to find it. Athena's going to come back in with a nice 2-man taunt.
And the freeze, unfortunately, will not find home there, but he is going to find the grave as Wedstretch, with the help of a full damage shockwave from Inverse, is going to pick up the kill there. And now immediate rotation coming out of TypicalJava and dewarding on top of that. If they're not thinking of Gold Fury, at least they want to try and get some jungle camp positioning here. We can see they immediately went for the purple. But speaking of Typical, he just took a decent bit of poke out of a single projectile in light stance, of all things, out of the hell.
Well, that light stance is pretty powerful, actually. It's one of those things... You go ahead. That's
the things that a lot of people underestimate. People think, oh, if Hell's in light stance, I'm safe. No, you're not. The wand still does damage, and it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts a lot. It's one of those weird things where actually the light stance has a lot more damage on it, just because it's a single target, whereas it's an AoE for everything. We actually see the outpush ult used over here. The Nemesis ultimate went onto the outpush, gonna get stunned out by the Xbalanque ultimate, looking for all of the damage onto him. He's just gonna be able to dash away, and that's probably him gonna be getting out. Inverse is still looking to follow up, though he does have a Cataclysm. We do see Wedstretch over here as well. Glitchhop taking quite a bit of health, gonna get slowed by the outpush, not gonna finish him off. And now grandseraph is also gonna run away, as it looks like Red Team may be going for the Gold Fury finally.
Yeah, there was a lot of posturing throughout the early parts of this game, and it looks like at least a full attempt, if not a half attempt into a bait, is going to be happening.
Yeah, this is probably going to be a bait. Oh, Athena's ultimate is actually used already. Taunt going to come out with a beautiful Medusa ulti as well. This is just a great wipe coming out. And Medusa's going to be finished off in the backline by Sham. But now, 4 members of Arcane Purple are chasing up, looking for Probo and Sham. Gonna come around the backside. Probo has no mana. This is definitely him dead. Taunt gonna come out. Sham on very little health as well. Gonna be finished off by the Osiris. That's a deicide coming out, and the Gold Fury is theirs.
That was unfortunate for Eniquity. They tried to get something out of that, but it just backfired horrendously with their positioning in that fight. They got split up way too quickly. And now with that, Arcane's going to be able to capitalize and not only get a full deicide's worth of golden XP, but a Gold Fury on top of that. That's
Well,
going to put the golden XP charts pretty high.
Yes, it does, but, I mean, they were actually only ever so slightly ahead. They were ahead by about 100 gold before that gold tier, after they killed everyone, and now they're about 1,500 or so. The XP, though, is much higher up, 3k XP lead. So, definitely a big favour in them in the XP, but not so much in the gold, actually. They were still only just about even.
Yeah. And now, I want to take a step back here and look at the itemization. So, things are fairly neutral in terms of anything surprising coming out. You see your standard stuff. You see the Runeforge coming out on solo laners. You see, you know, that's it could be a Nickerval coming out of Viper. But we see Silver Breastplate being built by Glitchhop.
Yeah.
Now, in a recent patch, that was buffed in terms of price, nerfed a little bit in terms of mana, but you didn't need that much anyway. Most people got it because of the cooldown and protection. So, is it the fact... Why would he get that? I mean, explain to people why would he possibly get that right now?
As far as I can tell, he's probably struggling with the Thor, who has been in his lane quite a lot. I mean, why would you be? You're a Thor. That's a Hell. Hell doesn't really have much ways of dealing with you. So the best way to do it is just sit in her lane and camp there, almost. So the best thing to do is just get some sort of... get some cooldown, get some protection. But then also the mana does actually help, because Hell is quite mana hungry. Especially with the fact that she's stance dancing so much. So getting this mana should actually help her out. We do see Arcane Purple, I think, actually took both of those mid camps. Because
Viper managed to kill the one on the right.
A little bit too slow. So,
yeah,
quite a nice job from them.
And possible argy-bargy going on in the mid here. Xbalanque ultimate is going to come up. Down comes the Thor gang immediately from the side. Nice synchronization there with the Xbalanque ult to blind them. In comes the use of Berserker's Barrage passive with the huge chunking off of the spin to win. And there's the miasma use. The extra bonus damage plus stun is going to be enough to finish off the Hell who tried to heal there. Nice rotation coming out of Iniquity.
That was 4 ultimates, though.
Yeah, that's a lot to pay for a single kill.
Yeah, and now Athena's actually channeling her ultimate over onto grandseraph, going to look for the dance, getting the taunt, great wombo combo, and that's Wet Stretch going down, finding another kill, and that was only 2 ultimates used for that one. So, a much better trade overall. Plus, it's going to shut down the Xbalanque more, make him sit at base, make sure that he can't get his farm, and he can't get any more kills while he's dead. Because shutting down those kills off of Xbalanque is the best thing to do ever.
And the most important thing is, there is now a fabulous statue over in the jungle.
Oh yes,
I mean,
you can't not love the statues. I can't quite get it. Wait. Oh no,
although
it's gone.
let's be frank here. There is pretty much no gameplay use for them, apart from the fact that they can block auto attacks and you can use them as points to spit and split the acid splash. But they're just pretty as hell.
Yeah, they are very pretty, but you can actually get some great combos off of them. Mainly the body blocking. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've seen. It's just being able to hide behind it. There we go. Just caught it in the corner if you didn't see the Xbalanque statue. But it's you can body block with them very effectively, especially if you get a really good statue like a bug or something. So Kepri, giant bug in the middle of the lane. You can't get rid of it. It's pretty annoying to try and body block, try and AA around that. So the best thing to do is either just go over it, or just not bother around it, and just wait and fight somewhere else. It's a really good idea, actually. It's one of those things that most Medusa's players just forget about, but actually can be quite vital.
Yeah. And there's other things in the game on top of that. Yeah, Thor's maybe thinking about something. There's enough ward coverage coming out of Arcane here to where they can easily spot any kind of Thor shenanigans coming out of the Gold Fury or the Fire Giant and then just move away. We've seen people, hell, even last week in the challenge, just fall to repeated Thor ganks, but it looks like Argy-Bargy in the mid.
Wow, gonna actually force the ultimate to go up in the air. I'll push ultimate use as well. I don't know if Thor wants to go in on this. It's going to go on Viper. Viper actually taking a lot of damage, going to be forced to go away. Slow coming out onto Inverse as well, should force the disengage there. Over on the left-hand side, you're going to see grandseraph using her ultimate to try and kill Wet Stretch. Wet Stretch is just going to be able to dash away as well. Mid-camp on this right-hand side. Going to want to see if Arcane Purple wants this, but Eniquity Eclipse wants to stop them from getting it.
In comes the Tiger Stun, but that's going to get blocked away by a nice cleanse on top of the Retribution Shield. Miasma is going to be applied to Viper. and a decent bit of damage coming out of the corpse explosion onto Glitchhop. He's just going to be able to heal that right up. Bear in mind, the longer you do stay in a stance, you do get a little bit of bonus to healing. The taunt doesn't hit. And even if it did hit, Inverse had shield, so he could just cleanse that easily. I like the fact that they picked the Geb into the Athena, because he can just get rid of the taunt most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it is the entire reason that Geb is picked, and in my opinion, one of the only reasons you should be picking Geb is just to be able to counteract Athena, to be able to get the Stone Shield off, make sure that at least one of your team members can be safe from any of the combos that they can pull off. So then you can actually still have someone to counter-engage and attack. So, for instance, someone like a Thor, who can stun immediately afterwards, or a Sun Wukong, who can then turn around ultimate, get the stun out, get the slows out, and try and get the rest of his team out. So it's actually a really good tool to have, because although it specifies only that one person will be alive without having to use beads or anything, it will mean that there's still at least one person. Better than having nothing.
So, taking a look at how the whole structure damage thing is coming along, Solo Lane is going to be the first tower to fall in this game in favor of Iniquity, but Sham taking a decent bit of poke in response. Wow. Out comes Lord of the Afterlife to root him and stop his healing. His soul has been ripped out of his body. He can set on the cloud all he wants, but he's not going to receive... there goes the spirit debuff. So he's going to start healing, but he's not going to get as much as he would like out of that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, mid lane. Is Nemesis going to get this? Yes, she will with the help of Glitchhop, but Thor goes up into the air.
Yeah, and he's going to come down, the Geb blinking in as well, going to get a really nice 3-9 Cataclysm, knocking out Athena as well. Xbalanque trying to come in here, doing as much damage as possible, going to get slowed out. Trying to look for Viper, but can't find the last couple of basics, and health healing him up. Now, Westroke is in a bit of a problem, not going to get hit by the last rate though. Glitchhop finally a double kill with that 3, and now Thor's going to get taunted in. Actually not going to chase afterwards because Sham's back over here. Viper's going to heal up a little bit off of the damage coming out from Sham, and now Glitchhop's going to heal him up even more.
Yeah, that was a nice repulse by Glitchhop picking up the double there with the help of the Kauai Athena taunt. They may even get the tower off the back of this. They're going to take a decent bit of poke, but of course Hell can heal that right up. Meanwhile, even more pushing on the solo is Deridia is going to also pick up a tower in favor of Arcane. So that's going to be a 2-for-1 trade in terms of towers. And now Gulf Fury being attempted as well. Arcane really stepping on the gas pedal now to try and get some sort of lead and actually no, just increase their lead, period.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they need to do. They've got a very good early on. They want to try and capitalize on it as much as possible. Now, the one thing I will say, they do have a couple of characters which fall off a little bit later on in the sort of late-game team fights. Not hugely. I mean, Medusa, Hell, Hell sort of, she falls off more sort of mid-late, then comes back a little bit later on. And then Nemesis gets better. Osiris does a little bit of... depending on how he works. But with Eniquity, compared to Eniquity Eclipse, Xbalanque gets better late game. Geb gets fairly good late game as well. Puch gets better late game. Thor gets better late game. And some Wukong gets better late game. Eniquity do have a late game team, and they have been able to keep themselves up for quite a while. We're currently in the sort of semi-team fighting, semi-split pushing kind of time, and now once we start getting into the later on versions of the actual proper team fighting, Eniquity should start doing better. So we've got to see exactly how it comes out here, but we do see a fight on this right hand lane.
Wet Stretch is going to be able to get out of there with the help of the Geb shield, not taking pretty much any poke there. Any poke he does receive is going to be healed up pretty quickly by a lifesteal. Arcane Purple posturing up for at least a good bit of poke onto this tower, if not actually taking it. Yeah. Can they get this, though? Because bear in mind that there's a very sneaky Thor. Might go for a gank, but he just gets spotted out by a ward there. That's actually that's Arcane's ward there that you can see, so they will see that.
Yeah,
this is kind of just going to stalemate.
Yeah, it's just a stalemate, but I mean, on the right-hand side, we did actually see Osiris forced back home. And now he's just walking slowly up. Theme Gun taunt in though. Great Medusa ultimate as well. Trying to get as much damage as possible onto Inverse. Inverse not going to find enough, so Glitchhop just going to run away with the Theme ultimate on top of her. Viper doing a good job in the backline, actually zoning out Thor. Athena going to try and come in again. Nice dash away from Wet Stretch, although the Acid Spray is going to keep him from backing for a little bit longer.
Viper, meanwhile, is potentially in a bad place if Viper's not careful. Actually, nice deployment of the Retribution Shield to heal herself up, but you can't stay here too long, especially with Sham rotating over. And also Wet Stretch is coming down the lane, but a full engagement is going to get multiple ultimates are going to be deployed. Up goes the Thor, Xbalanque, Darkest Knights comes in. Viper's going to be forced to dash out. Spin to win, gets a full deployment. Nice use of Mule as the too much. Sham goes up onto the Nimbus Cloud and comes straight back down. Looking for Glitchhop, will smash her into the ground with the Bingo Jang. Viper, meanwhile, is going to pick up Sham. TypicalJava is very low, going to look for some life stuff of Deridia potentially. Kauai will pick up Wet Stretch. Yep, Shield is going to be deployed onto Probo to give him a little anti-poke resistance. grandseraph, though, going deep into the backlines. Needs to be careful he doesn't trip over a corpse and get detonated for his troubles. Viper, with a very nice slice and dice, is going to chop the literal earth in half. And now, with that tower taken, they're going to look for a second. Oh, yeah, never mind. Kauai goes in for more.
That was a really nice taunt again. This Blink taunt Athena has been proving very useful, and they may just get this tower down. They are quite low on health though, so they've got to be quite careful if they want to stay here for too long. grandseraph definitely wants to do this. Like, he's the standard ADC of please towers push. I need it. I need the tower damage. Please just come with me. Athena actually going to be able to heal up and come back in.
Yeah, that's the nice thing. That's why having an Athena is so nice. You get that global coverage. That's one thing, but being able to go back and immediately jump back in without anything like a teleport. So, having that luxury of saying, if you're in comms, ideally, it goes something like this. Oh, so people are coming towards me. I'm feeling a bit scared. Help me, please! Yeah. And I forget what Athena says after that, but essentially, you get the airdrop of the Athena, that's CC immediately, and also a decent damn bit of bloody damage on the ultimate if you manage to trap someone in, which you can do kinda easily with the dash out of Medusa.
Yeah, you can get a very good amount of damage off of that Athena ultimate, and even though it was used there, it's going to be back up next for the next team fight. It's only on a 90-second cooldown, of which is actually decreased because Athena has the Breastplate of Valor. We actually see two of them coming out for this game on the side of Arcane Purple, which is quite interesting to note. But that Breastplate of Valor is going to decrease the cooldown, make it a lot faster for the Athena to rotate in, so it shouldn't matter if they use it a couple of places of the I just want to be safe, can someone come and help me please, I'm scared to go out alone in the dark. Sham actually forced to use the ultimate over on the right hand side though.
Yeah, he's going to sit there and ponder his life on the Nimbus Cloud for a little bit. Now, let's have a look at the wards for a second, because most wards have degenerated, new ones are being currently applied, and a little bit of ward wars going on there. TypicalJava taking out one that was applied by Arcane. But look at the positioning coming out of Arcane here. They're going to trap Inverse. A lot of damage. He might get out of this alive if Thor can come down quick enough, but no, there's the repulse coming out of hell. Glitchhop finds the kill into Inverse. Probo gonna be forced to retreat with the rest of his team. That is something you do not want to do at this point. Yes, you need to ward up a support, but try and do it when you've got at least some guaranteed coverage of where the enemy team is. Otherwise, you get picked off like that. And that is one of the big guaranteed initiations coming out of Eclipse. Yes, they have the Thor, but he puts himself in danger once going in. Speaking of danger, Java taking a decent bit of damage, and he will go down thanks to the ultimate out of Osiris. Gonna rip his soul out right there. And now Sham is going to have his ire turned to. He's going to be forced to retreat out. No, never mind. Extremely good taunt. He's going to bring him out of the eagle form and get taken down. Kauai picking up the kill there. Tier 2 tower is under threat.
Yeah, and Wet Stretch is just going to do the right thing and back away. He knows he's not going to be able to defend this, as there's 5 men of Arcane Purple here, where only 3 of Eniquity Eclipse are still up. They're looking for the Fire Giant, though. Osiris lagging behind a bit. He could get caught up if anyone on Eniquity had the chance to, but I don't really think so. I'm going to see Arcane starting up the Fire Giant.
Yeah, they probably... There's a good chance of them grabbing this. Inverse doesn't have a Hand of the Gods, so he's not going to be able to go for any steal, but yeah, Thor is up. Wet Stretch is coming in. Is he going to get this?
No! Oh wow, this is getting very close. Medusa just nearly alive, not going to be alive for too long as the dart comes out from Wet Stretch, finishing him off. The Fire Giant is still doing a lot of damage to Arcane Purple. They need to finish this off as soon as possible. Their ADC was taken down, but they are able to take Fire Giant, and that's going to give them a big advantage in the next upcoming fight.
Yeah, that's a decent trade. You know, they got the Fire Giant off that, and they managed to get 2 kills. Yes, they did lose the Medusa. That would be nice to have a Fire Giant buff on their carry, especially for pushing. But they do have Deridia and Viper on the Osiris and Nemesis, who have pretty good auto-attack damage each. So you're just going to be able to chew through towers, ideally in the round about the same time, as long as they don't get caught out by any CC by Eniquity.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be something. We did see a bit of a fight going on in mid lane, but it wasn't going to really happen. It was just Sham being Wukong, trying to get as much damage out as possible. As I said, I was talking about the fact that the best way to build against a Nemesis is to try and not build too tanky. And they definitely seem to be working around this on the side of Eniquity. But it's causing them a couple of problems as to not... Well, as having a couple of issues, like some Wukong, you can see that he's only got Runeforged Hammer and Onkile, of which they don't give much protection. Like there's actually a fair amount of physical protection on Runeforged Hammer, but it's not going to give you too much, and you're also counterintuitively building a Runeforged. As you can see, Inverse forced to use Cataclysm, getting a nice knock-up onto Viper and the Athena as well, taking a lot of damage. They forced to use the Geb Shield out, Sham with a nice Tiger Stun onto there, followed by the Thor ultimate as well. Inverse is just going to be able to roll out or get away. Viper using the Shield of the Underworld, but it's not going to be enough. Viper taking a lot of damage, looking to escape. Wukong then go up onto the cloud.
He's going to be able to sit up there. He wasn't hit by any kind of anti-healing, so he's going to get a decent bit of regen, but he's forced to come back down. Athena ultimate is going to be charged onto Deridia. Down comes the Stilettos, doing a good bit of chunky to Prevo, pops the Aegis and the inverse Geb Shield, but it's not going to be enough. Gets turned to stone by Medusa. Meanwhile, Kauai is going to try and pull Typical in, but that's just going to get beaten away. Tier 2 tower does fall, Phoenix Push is going, but I spy in the left lane, a little bit of counter pushing by Wet Stretch, but back to the main fight. Empty the Crypts is going to be deployed. Spooky Ghosts are channeling their way onto Arcane Purple. Viper will pick a Wet Stretch there by backing to base and managing to grab him. I like the fact that one of them managed to say, oh, I could try and go for kills, let's go back, defend, keep our advantage, and that's what they successfully did. But Eclipse are going to be re-engaging here.
Yeah, they're going to be re-engaging. Nice taunt as well, going to be able to finish off Sham. Glitchhop going to be able to take that as well. And then everyone is just falling on Eniquity Eclipse. That is a deicide. Only Thor's going to be left to fight. Anything else coming up just now. Nemesis is split pushing on the left-hand side, knowing that she wasn't going to be in that fight. Best thing to do is just push back up what the Xbalanque had done, and now all of Arcane Purple is going to be heading to mid lane as well, and looking for even more of these Phoenixes, as only one has been taken down. But if you can take down more than one, you're going to start giving Eniquity Eclipse a whole lot more problems to worry about. Now they've all grouped up, and they're ready to do something if they really want to.
Yeah. They're going to be able to take that advantage now and run with it. Fire Giant isn't up right now, so they can't go and grab that. Well, what can they do? They can go back, finish their 4th and 5th and 6th items, and regroup. Eniquity has that right side Phoenix down. Admittedly, that's not the greatest position. Ideally, you want the other side. Yeah. You're going to be able to use that other side to defend, and then, since the Fire Giant's on the other side of the map, you've got, in theory, the best advantage to grab it, because the enemy team's on the other side of the map having to try and defend.
Yeah.
But since the Fire Giant isn't up, that isn't even relevant right now. It is going to be up in 1 minute or so, but that's going to allow Eniquity to fully respawn and actually consider their options here. Both teams are coming roundabout to level 20. Arcane does have the full level advantage above Eniquity. For instance, TypicalJava still level 18, Probo is level 17 versus their opponents 20 and 20 each. That level differential could come into this pretty heavily.
If you go and have a look at the XP difference as Arcane Purple get the gold tier, actually no, they're going to even look into a fight. Athena is going to be forced to use the taunt onto Viper. Viper nearly taking out Wet Stretch. Beads was used, and that's probably going to get Wet Stretch out, as well as the ultimate there. Quite interesting Thor, also up in his ultimate, just going to land down in the lane and just not really do anything. He knows that he can go in on that, so they've just forced pretty much everything that Eniquity Eclipse could have done. We see the Fire Giant's going to be up in a couple of seconds. Arcane Purple wants to get ready for this. They're just taking out the buffs, getting the nice positioning where they want it to be. As you can see, like this sentry ward up here is the perfect place to be. There also needs to be another sentry where there is currently a sentry here. So if they can get one of those away as well, that will mean that they'll be able to actually get a fairly good Fire Giant fight off. They are starting it up now. Arcane Purple doing a very good job of zoning away everyone of Eniquity Eclipse, not even realizing that actually there could be a much better way to go around this, as there's all three of them here, and Gabe coming around the backline using Cataclysm onto both Glitchhop and Viper. Viper trying to do as much damage as possible, hasn't used her ultimate. Actually, no, it has. A lot of damage coming out here.
Throws Circus Barrage right in the middle. There's a nice that is a 4-man Osiris ultimate, and the wombo combo from the Repulse is going to get the triple kill for Glitchhop. There's Deridia side, grandseraph mopping it up, and now Eniquity, with everyone down, is looking like they're about to be hit pretty hard in the juggler, because Arcane have the Fire Giant, they have the bonus damage, and with that, they're going to go for the throw, and this is going to be GG.
What a way to end the game. Oh
I wish I had a soundboard, because I'd just be doing wombo combo on chain right now. That was beautiful by Arcane.
It was just so perfect. It was the Athena taunt into the Medusa ultimate, followed by the Osiris on top. All four of them were there, and by the time they could have even got beat out, they were already dead. That was insane!
Yeah, just think about what was just applied there. So, the Athena taunt forces them to look at you, then the Medusa roll, because you can't avoid it, turns you to stone, then you can't move. Osiris then immediately jumps over, roots you in place for a second, but more importantly, stops any kind of healing, so any kind of shenanigans coming out of Wukong wouldn't matter, and then Glitchhop comes in on the hell, because he has been sat in that dark stance long enough, he gets the extra 20% bonus damage on the Repulse, comes in, literally gets a triple kill off that, and then allows grandseraph to clean up on Medusa.
Yeah, indeed. That was very, very well played by everyone on the side of Arcane Purple there. That was just huge. I'm just still insanely shocked at how big that fight was.
Yeah, there's been a couple of moments in this game where it's mostly been quiet farming with a lot of posturing, but the couple of fights that did happen, they have allowed either team to try and swing it in their favor pretty heavily. More so for Arcane. Arcane had the hell, and Glitchhop been doing work for his team. 12-2 in that game with 17k player damage. But the big thing is, look at the healing. 21k healing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, TypicalJava didn't really have enough time to get anything like a Miasma onto Hell, because Hell was able to beat, cleanse, so no stun, and the extra damage didn't matter because you just heal right out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that was just very well played by Arcane Purple. Commiserations to Eniquity Eclipse, you did do a very good job. We do actually have the next match coming very soon, so bear with us. We will be back as soon as we can for the round of 32, aka the second game of this tournament. See you in a bit.